Allah has said, if any of you comes from answering the call of nature, the Prophet also said, the prayer of whoever discharges it, hadath not accepted until he performs ablution again. A person from what is hadath replied, passing wind with or without sound. This also includes the release of al-mahdi and from the private parts. The following report was recorded earlier. Stated, there is semen. As for semen, it is the thing due to which one must make ghusl. As for al-mahdi, he said, wash your private part, or he said private parts, and make the ablution like that for the prayer. A deep sleep. This is a sleep in which the person is left with no sense of awareness, regardless if he is fully laying down or not. This point is based on the hadith from Safwan, who said, the Messenger of Allah ordered us to, while we were travelling, not to remove our leather socks for 3 days and nights, except in the case of sexual defilement, but from defecation, urination, and sleep we did not have to remove them. Thus the Prophet made no distinction between sleeping, urinating, and defecating. Furthermore, Ali narrated from the Messenger of Allah said, the eye is the drawstring of the anus, so whoever sleeps must make ablution. What this hadith means is that when one is awake, he is aware of any gas that he may pass, and thus his being awake is termed the drawstring concerning gassing, losing consciousness due to intoxication or illness. This invalidates the ablution because the loss of awareness is greater in this case than it is in sleep. Touching one's private part without any barrier, such as a garment, a touch of lust. The Prophet said, whoever touches his private part should then make ablution. The Prophet also said about touching one's private part, isn't it just a part of you? It is just a part of you if the touch does not contain any lust. In that case, it is just like touching any other body part. However, if it is touched with lust, then the touch is not similar to touching any other part of the body, as the other part are not usually touched with lust. And this is a matter that can clearly be noted. Eating camel's meat. That the Messenger of Allah said, make ablution from camel meat, and do not make ablution from goat or sheep meat. A man asked the Messenger of Allah, shall I make ablution from sheep's meat? He replied, if you wish, make ablution, and if you do not wish to do so, do not make ablution. Then he asked, do I make ablution from camel's meat? He replied, yes, make ablution from camel's meat. The acts for which ablution is required, or what is forbidden for one not in a state of ablution, the prayer. Allah has said, O you who believe, when you intend to offer the prayer, wash your faces and your hands and forearms up to the elbows, rub by passing wet hands over your heads, and wash your feet up to the ankles. And the Prophet also said, Allah does not accept a prayer without purification. Circumambulation of the house of Allah, Kaaba in Mecca. The Prophet said, circumambulation of the house is a type of prayer, except that Allah has permitted speaking during it. The acts for which ablution is recommended, mentioning the name of Allah, narrated that he greeted the Messenger of Allah, but the Prophet did not respond to him until he had made ablution. Then he said, nothing prevented me from responding to you except that I disliked mentioning Allah except while in a state of purification. Sleep. Narrated that the Prophet said, when you go to bed, perform ablution like you do for prayer, and then lie on your right side and say the following, O Allah, I submit my soul to you. I entrust all my affairs to you, and I rely upon you for protection, out of hope and fear of you. There is neither resort nor safety but with you. I believe in you, your book that you have revealed, and in your prophet that you have sent. If you died that night, you will die with Fitra, Islam. Make them, these words, the last you say before you sleep, while in a state of sexual defilement. If a person in this state wishes to eat, drink, sleep, or repeat the act of sexual intercourse, it is recommended that he make ablution. When the Messenger of Allah was sexually defiled and he wished to eat or drink, he would make ablution like the ablution for the prayer. It is the Prophet allowed the one who is sexually defiled, who wished to eat, drink, or sleep to make ablution like the ablution for the prayer. In addition, narrated that the Prophet said, if one of you has had intercourse with his wife and wishes to repeat it, he should make ablution. Before making ghusl, the complete bathing, regardless of whether it be obligatory or recommended ghusl, when the Messenger of Allah would bathe from sexual defilement, he would begin by washing his hands and then pour water from his right hand to his left and wash his private parts and then make ablution like the ablution for the prayer. After eating what has been cooked over fire, rated that he heard the Messenger of Allah say, make ablution from what the fire has touched, that is, what has been cooked over a fire. This is interpreted to imply recommendation due to the hadith of Amr ibn Umayr ad-Damari, who said, I saw the Prophet cut off a piece of shoulder of a sheep and eat from it. Then he was called to the prayer. He stood, put down the knife and prayed without making ablution.